Today we are making Frisian sugar bread, Fryske Sûkerbôle. Sugar, cinnamon and ginger syrup transform everyday bread into a real treat. If you want to brighten up your breakfast at special occasions like Mother's Day, Easter Sunday or Christmas morning, then you found the right recipe. This recipe is from the Dutch province of Friesland. Frisians have a history going back all the way to Roman times. Frisians, like myself, have their own language, which is actually very closely related to English. In fact, they are even twins. Both languages developed from Anglo-Frisian. Really, I'm not kidding you. If you speak English, then you probably easily understand the following Frisian sentence. Boter, bread en green cheese is goed Engelsk en goed Friesk. Back to the bread. Multiple sources on the internet say that in the past, young mothers who had given birth to a baby girl got a load of sugar bread as a gift. The ginger and cinnamon in the bread would give the mother and little girl some much needed healing power. Sûkerbôle, or suikerbrood in Dutch, is widely available at bakeries and supermarkets throughout the Netherlands. Although you do want to check if it was actually produced in Friesland. En Beverwijk? It's not in Friesland. So the stars of today's show: ginger syrup, milk, white caster sugar, white flour, dry yeast, butter, cinnamon, sugar cubes and of course salt. For the dough we mix 450 grams of plain white flour and we mix in about 40 grams of unsalted butter with our fingertips. After we add 30 grams of white caster sugar, 1 or 2 teaspoons of salt and 1 satchel of instant dry yeast. Mix well. Make a hole in the middle and pour in 200 ml of milk and 50 ml of ginger syrup. Now knead the dough by hand or machine. If you mix with a machine, just have it run through a standard dough program. If you don't have a machine and you don't know how to knead by hand, check some videos on YouTube. Now let's see what we got. Yes, this already looks very good. We can do something with this. Roll your dough back up into a ball and put it into a container. Cover it with a damp cloth or plastic. Now it should proof for an hour or until it doubles in size. A temperature between 20 and 30 degrees Celsius is perfect for this. Now it's time to get busy with the sugar. Crush about 200 grams of sugar cubes into smaller chunks. Although yeast loves sugar, too much sugar early on gets it killed. So that's why the chunks get added to the dough later, so the yeast can grow and get strong. Melt plenty of butter in a pan. When the butter has melted, add the sugar chunks and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Some quick tosses and it's all done. Now oil up your workspace, dump the dough onto your counter and knock the dough back and form a rectangular shape. And yeah, this is where it all goes wrong. Yeah, this is my first video, so I try to do it perfectly. Trying to arrange everything like Picasso just doesn't work out in the end. So forget about what you just saw. I made the mistake, so you don't have to. Now, how it should be done. Knock back your dough into a somewhat rectangular shape and just spread out all your sugar chunks. After, just knead them through the dough by force. Melt some more butter in a pan. We will use this to grease up our baking tray. Form your dough in such a way that it will fit into your baking tray. Spread some of that molten butter over your bread. Cover it again for an hour in a warm place and preheat your oven on 200 Celsius or 392 Fahrenheit to be exact. Oh, 1 hour later and we are ready for the oven. The dough proofed nicely. Bake in the oven for about 30 minutes or until the core temperature of the bread reaches 90 Celsius or 194 Fahrenheit. Yes, that's how we want it. Do you see all that molten sugar? That's why we need to get the bread out of the tray quickly, because as you can see, the sugar solidifies fast. Gently wiggle the bread out of the tray. Look at all the delicious sugar. But mister, we want to see how the other bread turned out. You know, the one that failed? Well, okay, I will show you. I mixed in the sugar too nicely and after rolling up, it all got stuck in the middle of the bread, resulting in a huge pocket of flavor in the center, leaving the rest of the bread pretty bland. But we want the chunks of sugar spread out through the whole bread. So now on to today's version. That already looks much better, although still not perfect. You can see how important this step is for the end result. You can serve the bread just like this, but it's much better with some butter. Sugar bread is also perfect for making French toast. So it takes some practice to get this bread right. Or maybe it's just because I'm an amateur. Try this recipe out for yourself and let me know how it turned out. Maybe you have some suggestions of your own. If you like my video, please like and subscribe to help my channel grow and to be the first to know. Bye. Oh, it's so
You want me to...
No. I'm practicing.
Okay.
Yeah, it feels so stupid.